Hey there, if you're watching this, you're probably about to make a very expensive mistake. You're thinking about buying the Logitech G920 racing wheel, and based on the thousands of five-star reviews, that seems like a solid plan. But what if I told you that wheel is hiding a massive, deal-breaking problem that almost no one talks about? Stick around, because we're going to expose the three critical flaws that could turn your dream sim racing setup into a very expensive paperweight. For the best price, click the link in the description. Let's start with the good stuff, because on the surface, the G920 looks like a hero. It's the gateway drug for millions into sim racing. The price tag is tempting, the brand is legendary, and the specs sound incredible. 900 degrees of rotation. Check. Force feedback. You bet. A leather-wrapped wheel and a solid pedal set. Absolutely. It promises to transform your Xbox or PC into a portal to Le Mans or the Nürburgring. That's the fantasy. But here's the brutal reality that crashes into that fantasy like a first-lap pileup. The core issue isn't one thing you can point to. It's a slow-burn disappointment built into the very design. Let's dive into the first and most jarring problem, the force feedback. Logitech boasts about its dual-motor system. Sounds powerful, right? Therefore, you boot up a game like Forza Horizon or Assetto Corsa, full of excitement. You take the first corner and it sounds like a coffee grinder fighting a bag of rocks. That's the helical gearing. While they market it as smooth and quiet, the truth is, it's famously notchy and loud. It doesn't feel like a car communicating with you through the tires. It feels like a series of gritty, mechanical clunks. It's like your car's power steering was made by a squirrel on a caffeine bing. This isn't immersive. After an hour, that constant grating and grinding isn't telling you about road surface. It's just telling you to turn the volume up. Which leads us to problem number 2, the brake pedal. This is the champion of misleading marketing. They call it non-linear and pressure-sensitive to mimic a real brake. That's a fancy way of saying they put a hard rubber block inside it. So for the first 90% of travel, it feels like a normal spring pedal. But that last 10%, you hit a wall. You have to stand on the thing like you're trying to crush a walnut with your heel. In a fast-paced race, trying to modulate brake pressure at that limit is nearly impossible. It doesn't teach you proper braking technique. It teaches you leg day. Unless you're training for a marathon by stomping on giant rubber erasers, this design is more frustrating than functional. Okay, so the wheel is noisy and the brake is weird. But maybe the build quality makes up for it. Therefore, let's talk about the third major flaw, the long-term durability or the lack of it. This wheel is a masterclass in planned obsolescence wearing a leather jacket. The hand-stitched leather. It feels nice for a while. The internal components, however, are the weak link. That force feedback system, working through those gears, is under constant stress. We've all seen the forums and the subreddits. The stories of the force feedback dying after a year, developing a horrible dead zone in the center, or just starting to scream in protest, are legion. The potentiometers in the pedals are infamous for getting dirty and causing erratic inputs, making your car randomly accelerate or brake. Let's pause for a joke. What do you call a Logitech G920 after 18 months of use? A very expensive, leather-wrapped desk ornament. It's not funny when it happens to you. The 4.6-star rating is deceptive. It's high because the initial wow factor for a first-time user is huge. But the one-star reviews, the ones buried deep, tell the real story of frustration and failure. This wheel is built for your first thrilling season, not for a long career. It's the driver that shows promise in practice but completely bins it on race day. Therefore, we have to ask, who is this wheel actually for? If you are a complete beginner on a very strict budget, and you just want to try sim racing to see if you like it, the G920 can be that entry point. But you must go in with your eyes wide open. You are not buying a premium, lasting piece of equipment. You are buying a temporary ticket. The moment you get serious, the moment you want smoother feedback, better pedals, and reliable performance, You will outgrow this wheel faster than a driver outgrows their first cart. It's a stepping stone, but one that's more wobbly and creaky than it needs to be. Now, let's talk about what you should consider instead. This is the resolution. Because once you know the G920's problems, the alternatives become glaringly obvious. For a similar price point, especially if you hunt for sales, you can step into the realm of belt-driven wheels from competitors like Thrustmaster. A Thrustmaster T300RS, for example, uses a belt and pulley system. Therefore, the force feedback is dramatically smoother, quieter, and more detailed. It doesn't grind, it communicates. The pedals are often better out of the box, and the ecosystem for upgrades is more robust. Yes, it might be a bit more upfront, but you are investing in a tool that will grow with you, not hold you back. Think of it this way. Buying the G920 is like buying a car with a stunning paint job but a transmission made of old spaghetti. It looks great in the driveway, but you're not going anywhere fast without a mess. I've got another joke for you. How many G920 owners does it take to change a setting? Just one, but they'll have to unplug it and plug it back in 3 times first. The point is, the little frustrations add up. The driver detection issues on PC, the need for constant firmware tweaks, the cable management for the separate pedals. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts on top of the major wounds. Therefore, here is my final, honest verdict. Do not buy the Logitech G920 thinking it's the definitive answer. See it for what it is. An aging design that hasn't meaningfully evolved in years, propped up by brand recognition and aggressive marketing. Its best feature is its availability. Its worst feature is everything under that leather skin. If you are even 10% serious about sim racing, save a little longer, widen your search, and aim for a belt-driven system. You will thank yourself a year from now when you're still driving, not troubleshooting. The G920 isn't a gateway. For many, it's a roadblock disguised as an on-ramp. So what's the play? Do your research. Look at the used market for higher quality wheels. Consider saving for that next tier. Your future self, enjoying buttery smooth force feedback and consistent pedals, will be thrilled you skipped this particular bargain. If, after all this, you still want to proceed with the G920 for that absolute beginner fix, you have been fully warned. And for the best price on Amazon if you decide to take the plunge, click the link in the description below. Let me know in the comments what you decide. Are you Team G920, or are you looking for a smoother ride elsewhere?